Hello, and welcome back to Here We Tow.
It's almost a year since we bought our Adria Caravan and our Vango Kalari Air Awning. In that year, we've been absolutely delighted with our Vango Air Awning, and I'll tell you why. It's had a lot of use in 12 months. It's withstood the red hot summer of 2018. It's also withstood winter, and just recently it's taken on the brunt of Storm Freya and Storm Gareth. But with all that weather, what we need to ask ourselves is, how do we look after and protect our air awning? So today we're going to be cleaning the Vango awning and also reproofing it, which is essential if you want to extend the lifespan of your awning. So stay with us. Jules is going to show you how to wash and reproof the Vango awning. So stay with us
and watch us after this.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action.
What are you going to need to clean and reproof your awning? First of all, you're going to need a dry day, and the reason is your awning's going to have to be dry when you put the reproofer on. Before you reproof, you want to clean the awning. So how do you do that? We're going to use an awning cleaning solution. There's many available. We're going to have a sponge, we're going to use a bucket, and we're going to use this brush. This brush is extendable, and the benefit of that will come clear in a minute. You might also want to use a ladder, although they're not always accessible when you're on the site. For example, today we certainly haven't got one. So how do you clean the awning? Once you put your solution in your water, you need to make sure you use a stiff brush to brush off any loose dirt that may be on the awning. We haven't got any of that today, but if you had, make sure you remove it first. Then take your awning a panel at a time, using either the sponge or the brush. Whilst you do that, make sure you check the seams of the awning as you work your way around for any damage or tears, and ensure that you look at repairing these before you start your cleaning. The brush is ideal because it's extendable. You'll be able to clean the roof of the awning, which without a ladder is going to be very difficult with a bucket and sponge. So that's why we're going to use that. Once you've cleaned the full exterior of the awning, you need to allow it to dry, and once it's dried, you can then start on the reproofing. The reproofer we're going to use on our Vango is the Fenwicks reproofer. This cost us £9.99 in an accessory store, although it is available online, and I'm sure you'll probably be able to save a few pounds by shopping around. One thing you might be asking is, without a ladder, how are we going to reproof the roof of the awning? This will become clear soon when Jules shows you a great technique to do it with ease. So, less of the talking, more of the action. So you've washed the awning, you've dried the awning, and now it's time to reproof it. So the question is, without a ladder, how will you get to the top and reproof the roof? Well, we've got a cunning tip for you which Jules is going to demonstrate. This is obviously for an air awning. However, if you have a poled one, you should still be able to take the poles down to get this to work. Make sure before you start the process Jules is doing now, you empty all the furniture from the awning, remove your caravan step, close the door and make sure there's no one inside. What are you doing then, Jules?
Letting the beams down.
Jules is de-inflating the beams on the awning, as you can hear. Make sure you've removed the outer straps and your storm straps, because otherwise you're going to cause some damage. So Jules has now de-inflated our 4 air beams, and in effect the awning will now collapse, as you can see. As it collapses, it's now going to allow you access to those roof panels that without the ladder you simply wouldn't have got to. So now it's in this position, Jules will be able to reproof the panels before re-inflating the air awning and starting on the rest of the awning. As I said, if you had a pole awning, you may be able to take certain poles out and have the same effect. Otherwise, you're going to have to bring it down in another manner. So I'll let Jules crack on with his good work. Jules has got a top tip if you're going to walk on the awning, and that is make sure you take off your shoes and go on foot. Jules might be slightly heavier than many people, but he's always careful where he puts his feet. As you can see, Jules has headed onto the awning and he's now going to use the Reproofer spray. Always make sure you read the instructions of the product you have bought, because it may differ from that of the one we have, which is the Fenwicks, as I mentioned earlier. The instruction on the Fenwicks simply says that you spray it on in the fashion that Jules is demonstrating, which is liberally but evenly. Make sure you do each panel one at a time, so you know which ones you've done and how far you've got. As well as using the product in the spray bottle it comes in, you can decant it into a larger spray bottle, the sort that you can spray weeds with, and this will also allow you to reach higher up and a broader reach, so it's worth thinking about. However, I'm not advocating that on this occasion, simply because it's something else to take along to the caravan site with you, and you don't want to be taking any more stuff. And there we are, Jules has finished the roof. As you can see, that was fairly easy. You can do one coat, although on the roof it might be worth using 2 coats, because that's the most exposed part of the awning in terms of it coming into contact with rain. You don't have to, with the Fenwicks product, necessarily have to wait for the first coat to dry until you apply a second. So what we need to do now is re-inflate the air beams of the awning, get it back up on its feet and finish off the reproofing. So let's get back to Jules as he cracks on with his work. And there we go, Jules has finished. So in total that probably took about half an hour, I'd say, for the reproofing, and that included taking down and putting the awning back up again. Reproofing is something you'll have to do depending on how much you use your awning and the sort of weather that it's subject to. What you need to look for is the beading. Once water stops beading on the outside of your awning, you need to reproof it, because that means it's no longer protecting you from the water that will then begin to seep through the fabric and into the awning itself. We hope you found that useful to some degree. I appreciate we're not reproofing experts, but hopefully it's given you an idea of how to reproof and protect your awning ready for 2019. So,
thanks for watching,
and
we'll catch you
in the next one.